Welcome to Possibilities.
Possibilities is a program that showcases the talent of persons with disabilities.
It's not the body that does it, but the brain that does it.
Possibility.
Possibilities.
Possibility.
Possibilities.
Possibility.
Hello, welcome to Possibilities. My name is Ave Aiki and I'm an amputee. Today's program we have in our studio Mrs. Aisha. Mrs. Aisha is the CEO, Penel Foundation and Friends to Persons with Disability. Mrs. Aisha, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Mrs. Aisha, will you please tell us about yourself?
Thank you for having me on the show. My name is Aisha Dirisu, and I'm the founder of Penel Foundation. Penel Foundation is a non-profit organization. We inspire, motivate, and empower youth with disability.
Okay, Mrs. Aisha, what really gave birth to Penel Foundation, if I may ask?
You know, a lot of people ask me that, and they're like, so why persons with disability? Do you know someone with disability, or is that what is actually the drive? And most times I tell them that it's just like a desire, something that is unexplainable. It's just like I always say, it's my divine assignment. And funny enough, it's not something I ever thought I was going to do. It's just something I felt, oh, yeah, I've always been passionate towards it, but I never thought, oh, one day you're going to own. If you had told me this like 2 years ago, I'll say, hell no, that's not possible. But here I am, and it's something that I'm passionate about. It's something that I really need to see a change in Nigeria. The whole vision behind Penel Foundation is to have a Nigeria where we have leaders that are persons living with disability. We have, when you look at the corporate world, you have persons with disability. And I believe when we attain that, a lot of the problems we are facing, like, accessibility, it's going to reduce. Because imagine having the bank MDs as someone with disability. The bank has no choice but to make their bank accessible to persons with disability. Imagine, the head of service, most of their top permanent secretaries are persons living with disability, because they know the plight. There's not going to be a problem of accessibility or persons with disability being discriminated against.
Mrs. Aisha, so when you see somebody that is challenged, what really comes to your mind?
What comes to my mind is, when I see someone with a disability, I don't look at the person with pity. The first thing that comes to my mind is, if the person is doing well, I'm inspired. And if the person is at that place that I believe you have so much to offer, what I do is take it upon myself to look at how can I inspire this person, motivate this person, and help this person to achieve the better version of themselves.
Wow, that's interesting. How I wish we have more of you in this country, Nigeria.
I know, right?
Okay, I learned some few weeks ago you had a program for persons with disability. What was the program all about?
It was a 2 days training. It was an entrepreneurship training and digital training for youths with disability. Actually, it was a time where we felt that it was time for the youth with disability not to just wait for employment, because right now we know what Nigeria is about. There's not so much employment, so we can tap into the entrepreneurial market, and also the digital aspect. We realize that a lot of persons with disability shy away from making use of technologies. It could be because they are not aware of what technologies are available, or they just don't exactly, maybe they cannot afford it, or funny enough, quite a number of the persons I interacted with, they have devices that make use of, let's say for instance, social media, but they shy away from it. So the whole idea was to get down to understand what are the challenges you're facing in making use of your social media as to be a self-advocate, and also maybe to sell whatever, because a lot of them were actually into one thing or the other that they were selling. Some is services and some is products. So why are you not using your platforms to sell yourself and your devices to sell? And you know, it was interesting really that quite a number of them didn't either know how to go about it or they were just shy. And you know, that platform really helped a lot. A lot of them now, I mean, I got a lot of people telling me, oh, now I'm making use of my social media to sell my services. And I mean, you know, little things like that are things that, you know, go a long way. We should not just assume that everybody knows. No, the fact you know does not mean someone else does.
It's true, you are right. So, well, how can you score the outcome of the program? Okay, let's say from the scale of 1 to 10.
When you say the outcome of the program, I mean, it encompasses a lot. Number one, the turn-up was amazing. I mean, for the first time doing that, I didn't expect that amount of turn-up. And when you talk of the facilitating and the feedback we're getting, it's been amazing. And, you know, it just makes you actually sit down and say, wow, so I can do so much with just little. So I should not just think that until I become a millionaire before I can actually make a difference and change lives.
And again, I think doing something like that would really make sense. Some people might feel that there's no point organizing something like that for these people. They might not even come. And from what you're just saying, the turn-up was
amazing. And I mean, the facilitators that came, the feedback I got was also encouraging. I heard something like, wow, this set of youths with disability have the drive. You can see that they actually want to do something and make a change. So it depicts the notion that people have that, oh, youths with disability are lazy. Exactly. They don't want to do anything. They just want handout. No, that's not the case. No, that's not the case.
Okay, Mrs. Aisha, if I'm not mistaken, you're married.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so how do you balance Pioneer Foundation, family, and your social life?
I mean, when I get that question, I smile a lot because when you have something driving you, you actually don't see the difference. Like when I'm at home, there are times, I mean, when I'm at home, I'm there for my daughter. You know, we play so much, like I spend time. But I also have times where I take, like when she's asleep, most times I get a lot of inspirations at night. So most of the time at night, you see me on my laptop and I do a lot of self-discovery at night. So, and during the day, I mean, I have help and, you know, that's very important. I have help, so I'm able to also go around and do other things. So, I mean, it's interesting, but also very doable.
Okay. We'll take a break now. When we come back, Mrs. Aisha will be taking us deeper in her world of CEO of Pioneer Foundation and other activities she does. Thank you. Okay, welcome back. If you are just joining us, you are watching Possibilities, and in the studio today we have Mrs. Aisha. She has been telling us what she has been doing with herself and Pioneer Foundation. Mrs. Aisha, what can you say about the Nigerian perception about persons with disabilities?
Wow, I mean, we still have a long way to go, but I believe that with enough sensitization and advocacy, we're going to get there. The perception of persons living with disability in Nigeria is quite appalling. We have so much myths that are out there that needs to be, you know, countered with facts. I mean, things like, one of the things that actually brought me to the fact that I need to start something, work for persons with disability, is the fact that we don't have so many persons with disability that are employed in the employment space. And, you know, I asked myself why. And I realized that a lot of employers in Nigeria believe that persons with disability are either not educated. And I met Ave. Ave is so educated. I mean, and I've met a lot of youths that are educated, that have been through so much to go through the education in Nigeria. You know how difficult it can be for persons living with disability. And they finished, and they are so smart. And why are they not being employed? Because of their disability. Because someone out there assumes that persons with disability cannot do this. I mean, little things like asking. Because one thing I realize is, if you don't ask, Ave has lived with her disability for about 17 years, so she is in a better position to explain to you how she does certain things every day. So for you to just look at me and assume that, oh, because I have a certain disability, that means I can't function, that is a very, very wrong notion. And you know, those are things that are actually affecting persons with disability. And as such, that a lot of inaccessibility, because a lot of office space are not even
to even see us is a problem.
I mean, and you know, these are things that we really need to work on. And I mean, that's why I keep saying, also, persons with disability have so much to do. You need to begin to educate people. And I mean, in the last training, I said something to the youths there. I said, imagine using, instead of just going quiet on your social media, begin to educate them on what you can do. So I used an instance of someone I follow on social media. Her name is, I think, Olivia. Olivia is an amputee with, I think, one hand. And so she shows us how every day she does her makeup. Things that on a good day I would have thought, oh, because she has one hand, she can't do it. She was educating me how she does it. So with that has cleared a lot of misconception that people have, that, oh, because this person is an amputee, she can't do this. So that is what one person is doing. Imagine if we have a lot of youths with disability showing what they can actually do. I mean, yes, with their disability, it will also go a long way to educate the society.
When you see those begging on the streets, what comes to your mind?
You know, the funny thing is, I'm not one of those that would judge that, oh, why is this person begging? The truth is, when you're not walking in a shoe, you cannot understand, you know, where it hurts the most. So most times I try to actually have a conversation to understand where they're coming from, because most times we just assume, oh, why is this person begging? This person can do better. But the truth is, you don't know what the person has been through to decide to be begging. Because I mean, there's nobody that does not like the good of life. So for that person to be begging, I try to understand what that person is going through. And I mean, the word I have for youths with disability is, the first thing first is your mind. As far as you can see it in your mind, you can achieve it. So the first thing is to begin to see it. What's that thing you want to achieve? Don't let anybody tell you that you cannot. Because you have a disability does not stop you from achieving whatever you have to achieve.
But that word impossible, I discover it's a mindset. It's what we have it in our mind. If you really kill that word from your mind, anything is achievable. All you need to do is just try. When you try, you fail, you try another strategy.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so, and to the society, what's two, three things you think the Nigerian government should do?
I'm one person that usually say, let us leave government out first.
Okay.
And begin to deal with ourselves. Yeah. When government see us change, they don't have a choice but to change. Imagine if we see everybody, I always use this for instance, imagine if we have over 28 million Nigerians living with disability. How many businesses consider persons living with disability? So for instance, you're opening a shop, an office space, and you say to the person you're going to rent from and say, oh, because I have customers living with disability, they will not be able to access this building, so I'm not taking it. If we have about 200 people out of how many million in Nigeria that own businesses that begin to speak up for persons with disability, people making buildings, office spaces will begin to say, oh, a lot of my clients are not taking my space because it's not accessible. And we begin to, you know, they begin to make modifications. So we don't always have to wait for government. We can begin to do the changes, and before you know it, it becomes a norm. So accessibility begins to reduce. Even before they pass the bills, those are little things we can do, yes.
Exactly. Oh, you're talking about disability.
Yes, and also the attitude that the society have with persons with disability needs to change. Persons with disability are strong individuals. They are individuals first before any disability. So the way you approach any other person is how they need to be approached. So we need to change our attitude and also learn about persons living with disability.
Wow, Mrs. Asha, it has been an interesting time with you in the studio. We've been talking with Mrs. Aisha, CEO, Pioneer Foundation, friend to the persons with disabilities. Viewers out there, this is where we draw the curtains of today's episode of Possibilities TV program. Join us same time, same station for another interesting episode. I have been your presenter, Ave Aiki. Bye-bye.
Thank you.